Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well right now, given the extraordinary circumstances we're going through on the planet. I hope everybody is safe and well fed, well stocked up, and I hope that you're finding ways to keep yourself calm and grounded and moving forward during this time as well, because there's enormous change and opportunity to re-envision and reawaken things in our lives, just as much as there is powerful and horrible things happening as well. It's always both. That's the irony of life, isn't it? It's always both. So we're going to take a look today at the new moon, tarot, and astrology. So first of all, I want to just give everybody a nice little sage smudge bath here, for myself and for you. So just envision this lovely sage smoke is going all around you as it is around me. If you have some at home, great time to do it. And it doesn't have to be sage. It could be sweetgrass, it could be cedar, it could be palo santo. It could be rosemary if you have some. There we go. And I always do the cards. Cleanse your cards. Woo, just burned myself on it. All right. Oh, feels very good. Okay, so I'm just going to shuffle the cards, and we're thinking about the new moon. So the new moon is April 22nd, and it's happening around 5:25 Eastern time. And it's happening in the sign of Taurus. So the sun is in Taurus, and the new moon will be in Taurus as well as Mercury and Uranus. So we have a strong cluster of planets in Taurus, really emphasizing what that means. And a lot of Taurus is about security and home and hearth, loyalty, self-care and routines, and a lot of it is about figuring out what is worth what to us. Values, 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 and staying grounded. Okay, so our first card is the Chariot. All right, so the Chariot. The next card here is the Three of Wands. And the next card is the Star. Okay, not a bad reading. What is going on? I think I dropped some ashes on myself from the sage. Okay, so the Chariot. The Chariot is a card of Cancer. I'm not sure if you can see the crab on top of his helmet. And the sign of Cancer is on the bottom. Now, the Chariot is one of those cards people interpret in different ways. For me, the Chariot, if you see how armored he is, he's under a canopy or you know, the roof of his chariot. He's got 4 different animals that could be pulling the chariot for him. They look sort of... So the Chariot is very much a card where there's a lot of armor, there's a lot of protection. Maybe it's needed. Usually it's a card that means you're consolidating forces and you're trying to overcome some obstacles. Usually the obstacles are the 2 horses that are drawing the carriage or the chariot. And they're usually looking like they're horses that are untamed, or they're hard to consolidate or get them to be on the same path together. And the enormous focus and will that it's going to take the charioteer to get them on the same path. So here you've got 4 of them, and they're all just sort of sitting around. And so this is a card of like a big push, and a push to bring people all together that are on the same page. So that's quite apropos in the world, and maybe it's apropos in your life too. The Three of Wands is a nice message after that. The Three of Wands is all about virtue, as you see here. and it's the sun in Aries, and it's a spiritual card because you've got a trinity and you've got all these translucent beautiful wands with flowers on them, all meeting in the middle. All meeting in the middle, and look at all the yellow and the orange, and that signifies the solar plexus chakra and the the sacral chakra. And again, it's like not a harsh orange, so it's getting people more positive and more motivated and more on the same page. It's also, you know, sun in Aries, you're honoring yourself and your pure sense of self comes out, not in a greedy me kind of way, but having a sense of your own identity is important right now, as well as coming together and joining with others. So the virtue card for me always means do the right thing, do the noble thing, do the thing that you know is right. Act from that place. And then we have the result, or the progression of the cards is the star. Now, as you see the star, she's sort of got her head turned above, and she's almost opening something up above and around the world. She's also pouring with her other hand a cup of something down away from the world. It's almost like she's giving the globe or the planet a good cleansing. And you see this star in the background sort of swirling with its spiral energy all around. And it's a mystical kind of card. There's sort of magic in the star card. Often it can represent recognition, standing out, wanting to shine. It can represent your ideals. It's an Aquarius card, and we are now currently in a long phase, 2.5 years of Saturn in Aquarius, where we're going to be looking at these themes of the water bearer and sort of seeing life in a global picture and detaching a little bit and bringing people together on a level of friendship, on a level of humanity itself. And so the progression of these cards is actually quite nice, because if you take a look, we start off with an obstacle. We come together and meet in the middle and join our will and do the right thing. Look at this, even with the disc right here in the solar plexus. Again, the will and all the yellows and red and blue. It gets integrated in the center here, radiates outwards with softer color blends. And then we get, again, this beautiful blue star as a result. So for me, also in conjunction with the planets, which I'm going to mention next, you're overcoming an obstacle this week. You're giving, you know, there's a push, and maybe a push back. You know, there's a bit of a resistance, or maybe more than a bit, depending what we're referring to. But there's going to be something a bit intense in the air, and at the same time, it's going to provoke like a catharsis. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm getting a feeling this week of a catharsis. So catharsis is like you're trying, you're holding, and then all of a sudden you just realize you can't do this anymore. You can't keep going on like you're going on, even though you've been pushing and trying and pulling, and the card of virtue in the center is like, once you let go and you realize I can't keep doing the same thing I've been doing in the same way, and that could be that could be a collective, you know, that could be a strategy for reintegration back into coming outside and doing business again. That could be something deeply inside yourself and your own personal issues, but it's the pressure that builds up to a catharsis, and then when you let go and you go, oh, right, I need to really honor myself here, and I'm going to do what I know is the right thing to do, and it'll bring people together, and it will sort of raise the hopes and raise the level of ideals. You know, we can never say a reading applies to everyone and everything across the board, but this is the energy that's in the air, and it'll play out for some people. If they continue to resist, it'll continue to play out badly. And if they have that breakthrough and they have that catharsis of shedding, surrendering, letting go, that's when good stuff happens. Now, I'm going to take a look now with the astrology chart, which I don't have in order to hold up in front of me to show you, but I can post it. It's in the newsletter that I gave with this video. Now, the planets are quite intense as well for this new moon chart. So we have the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, and Uranus all in Taurus. So Taurus likes things to be safe and secure. They like it to be reliable. They like it to be predictable. They prefer when things are sort of settled and routined. They sort of like, in a way, a bit possessively, but they want to know, this is my family, this is my house, these are my friends, this is my stuff, and I like it this way. And so the moon in Taurus doubly emphasizes that need for security, and especially when it comes to like financial security. It's now like it's a deep need for everything to be calm and secure and settled and rooted. Very homebody, Taurus cards, Taurus planets. Mercury in Taurus, again, you know, communicates in a down-to-earth, warm, sort of charming way, or a very practical, no-nonsense kind of way. And then Uranus is coming to sort of, Uranus is throwing that all out the window right now for everybody in society. Astrologers have been expecting something of this nature to the upheaval that we're seeing to the economy and financial system and the way we do work and business. We've been expecting with Uranus and Taurus and with Pluto and Capricorn, and now they are squaring off with each other during this pandemic. And nobody knew for sure that it would play out as a pandemic, but we knew something would come along suddenly and quickly and strongly, that's Uranus, that would transform and change and disrupt and break down old structures to rebuild a new one, and that's Pluto in Capricorn. So a lot of Earth planets happening this new moon, and you know, this spring basically. So those influences all in Taurus are squaring off, meaning like 90-degree angle. So I want to go here, I want to go here. And they're earth signs, so they're very fixed and strong, and it plays out on a physical level, like your body, your finances, your house, your stuff. It plays out on a material level with earth signs. It's not happening on the idea of air, where it's like ideas and technology and thinking is changing. No, this is like visceral. Your needs are not being met on a physical level, or they are being challenged. And this is why it provokes a stronger change and a stronger reaction. So the planets that are squaring off during the new moon are Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. Even though Saturn and Mars are technically in Aquarius, they're in early Aquarius. This is astrology functions by math. It functions by degrees. So even though the signs are not exactly classically squaring, the degrees of these planets are squaring. So right now we have this stronghold of like, you know, I like things the way I like it. I want my world to stay the way it was. Thank you very fucking much. You know, I don't want anything to touch my family, my house, my friends, my pets, my food. Leave me alone. That's all the Taurus and the needs of Taurus. And Uranus is going, we're changing this. This is not stable. This isn't what it was going to be. Because Uranus comes in just like, and then it leaves again. Which is why, you know, even with the pandemic, If we correlate any of the pandemic to Uranus as an energy, it goes whoosh, and it comes in and then it can leave quickly too. So we don't know yet, you know, whether this is going to be a long, prolonged feeling thing like Saturn and Pluto, or whether this is just going to come like a strong hit and a strong wake-up call and then leave again. And it might come back, yes. But it might leave and disappear. That's how Uranus works. Now that's squaring off with Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. Yikes! You almost can't breathe just thinking about it. Pluto and Jupiter in Capricorn, emphasizing structure, authority, government, institutions, patriarchy, anything to do with the massive underpinnings of the structures we live by, meaning capitalism. We live by capitalism. It's being challenged. It's being thrown up and for question, right? It's being, and the Taurus planets are like, I'm fine. I like it to stay this way. Let's just, you know, wait this out and come back out and have it all be like it was. And that's the struggle a lot of people are having, right? Some people are moving on very quickly. They're like, world's not going to be like it was. Let's envision something new. And that's the best aspect that we have of this new moon is Venus trine Mars. Venus is in Gemini, Mars is in Aquarius. That's your air. And they're trine, meaning they're in flow. They're in harmony together. And this is your air planets are in flow, which means if you can stay in the realm of creativity and adaptability and be open to receiving new thoughts, new directions, new ways of doing things. Mars and Saturn in Uranus in Aquarius can be very inventive, very inventive. So there are new things and new ways that are going to come into play. And if you want to be on the more positive or lighter side of what's going on, then you should tap into that side of it and start to envision what you want as a future and start to be part of the creative solutions to solving some of the problems, instead of being part of the fight going on. I want it the way it was. No, we're coming down and we're telling you how it is. We want this. We want that. This is Pluto and Uranus and Capricorn, Taurus, planets that are squaring each other, duking it out. This corresponds well with the Chariot and with the obstacles and the different factions that are coming out and fighting within each other that need to have this catharsis moment that I mentioned, this pressure build up and catharsis, which can come by all kinds of ways when it comes to the bigger societal picture. Hopefully it won't come to anything too extreme, but we're already starting to see protest movements and people lining the streets wanting to come out of their houses and calling things fake, and other people that are, you know, we're seeing all kinds of oppositional stuff going on right now. The higher note, the planets, the Venus trine Mars in air signs can easily correspond to this. Surrender. It's not the same world. It's not going to be the same world. Let's be part of the creative solution. Let's start being adaptable and thinking about what could be done differently and better than we had it before. And let's get excited about that. Let's innovate and do something exciting with it. All right, if you would like to stick around for my extended tarot reading for this new moon, you can subscribe at patreon.com. The link will be below. And I offer many things on Patreon if you want to follow my work. And I will be adding to it and making it more creative as time goes on. But for now, you'll get the extended version, which is 9 cards to describe what's going on this month. And and yeah, and you will get other extended readings if you subscribe as well, not just this one. It'll be an ongoing thing. I wish everybody well. Stay tuned for the next part.